Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. And today we are having a one more problem statement based on the date and time. And we want to calculate the date and time difference and how we can calculate in Power BI. And we will going to see in this thing. So I have a one sample table where I have the start and end date. I have just the two start and end date. That's why I have just nomenclature something like start date one and start date and two kind of thing. So let's focus on first start date one and end date one. So something, let's say production process started at this time, production process completed at this time, or order is placed at this time, order is completed at this time. So this is a very real world case phenomena. And let's say we have values such as, let's say I've just taken a random value, to be honest, it's not something based on a real data. So let's say 24th of April 2024 at midnight, let's say 1:45 something, some process started and it completed on the same day at 2 p.m. So likewise we have this thing. So we wanted to calculate how what exactly the difference in the number of days, then hours, then minutes, and then seconds. So which can be used in somewhere where you have to take consideration and how you can manipulate that also. So I have just written, let's say, two days hours. You can also return specific to number of days hours. Let's say if you want to roll up the total number of days or something like this difference, so that can be also used. So I have already created one measure actually, and we will deep dive into this measure and let's see how it looks like. Let me zoom in a bit so that you will understand the things. So what I'm using right now, so we wanted the difference of between these two. So we have taken a date diff, which is from start end, and we have returning as a seconds. So how many seconds that actually will be returned in these things. So this is why the first thing. So I have one more copy of this thing. What I can do, like we can go one by one, example by example, how the days are calculated, then how the hours are calculated, then how the minutes, and then seconds. So we will break down these components slowly. So let's get started for, let's say, how many days. So days is simple quite actually. Let me do one thing. I have one test measure also so that we can test quickly. So what I can do, I can just place this thing here. Okay, uh, let me comment it out and let's get the days. How many days are actually we have? So no, actually we should get the first total seconds. Okay, so once the difference is taken, how many are the total seconds between both the things? Okay, wait, my god, sorry, I have to change it to, let's say, uh, get sample output. Okay, now it's done. So it will give you the total difference in the seconds. So if you see, if you end date minus start date gives you this many number of seconds. Okay, now if you want to convert it into a day, so that is like these are my total number of seconds in a day. And if I just divide these things by taking an integer value, why integer value? Let's say it's maybe like two days, 3 hours. So we need 2 days first because we want to return the number of days. So that's why we have taken the integer value. So this now let's get the day as an output. If I take the day as an output, if you see, we have 0 days because it is the same date. Here we have the 2 days. Here we have the 1 day. So here also, if you see in the output, we have got the same. Now, once we have the number of days, we should shift our focus to remaining hours. How we can calculate the remaining hours? So integer value takes, let's say it's 2.3 days, right? So these days will be the 2, but we want to calculate the remaining 2.3. 0.3 will correspond to how many hours. So how we can get this? First, we want the number of the remaining part, actually, the mode. If I just give you an example, how the mode works first, that would be easy for you to make, guys. Yeah. It gets hanged a bit. Let's see. So I have already taken one example here for the test. So let's say if you see the first example for 0 days, like its difference was, if you see that the difference was like 4,000, something like 46,000, something like this. And this is the total. So we want the denominator part from here. Sorry, the remainder part. So here the remainder part will be like the same exactly because it will be 0 days. So let's say 10 mod of, let's take 3. What you will get? You will get 1 as an output here. So 1 as an output because 9 then 1. Let's take it 14. If 14 divided by d, it's like something 4 point something something. So the 2 is the remainder. So the remainder part will be returned as an output. The 2 is the remainder because this 2 is nothing but here corresponds to 0 days and hours. For that hours component, we need the mod, the remaining whatever it is. So first we calculate the days. For calculating hours, we want the decimal part of this thing. So we take a mode, it will give you the remainder, and that remainder, let's say, has a 14 hours or so, let's say 2.4 or something like this. So we want that thing as an output. Let me do this thing as first. So we are returning the mode value here as an output. If you see what exactly the mode values, and we are dividing by 3600 is nothing but the 60 multiplied by 60. Okay. So if you see here, it comes exactly same as I said, 0 days. That's why here we have something like 8830 something. Now, if I take where it is, we have returning these things. Now we want to convert this into remaining seconds into hours. So what we do, when we can just take an integer part of that, and it will return me the hours. Let's see. So it gives me 13 hours because if you differentiate that, there 0 days, and whatever the difference between this time component, it gives me 13 hours. So still the minute component is missing. If you see here, 1:45 to AM to 1:45 PM plus one more hour to 1:45 to 2:45, that is corresponds to 13 hours. Okay, so that 13 hours here we have these things. Hope you are able to follow these things. First, we have the days. We took the integer part of a day. For the remainder part, we are calculating by using the mod. Once we have the mod, it gives you the remaining hours. And remaining hours, again, in the remaining hours, the integer part will be the hours and the decimal part will be your minutes. So likewise, we are calculating. So we have the hours now, hours component, and that was also reflected here as 13 hours, 2 hours, 10 hours. Then what about the minutes? How many minutes we have? So if you see here, we have taken, that's why we have taken a very simple example. If you take 13 hours and there is a gap of 2 minutes. So if you see now how this 2 minutes came actually, so it will be like 13 point something, it will be there, right? So 13 point something, that corresponds to the 2 minutes, and we want that. Now what I can do, if I see, so whatever we have it right now, it's like minutes in seconds, remaining minutes in seconds. I will just click here actually first. Again, whatever we have in hours, we, if we divide by 60, it will correspond to hours. So let me do one thing. Here is my bad. So it's nothing but like we have divided by 3600. Instead of that, we are just dividing it by 60. So that will give you the hours integer part. If you see the 2 minutes here, since 47, 45 gives me 2 minutes here, the 27, since it's 1220 and 220. So 1220, 220, it's nothing but like this. Okay. So 27 and 52. So we got the minute component as well. And let's say when we divide minute component, let's say 1.2 minutes. Let's say 2 point here, some minutes will be 2 point, some seconds will be there. That how that second components we need to retrieve, it's nothing but the remainder part. And this is how we come to the conclusion of the remainder part. That is by mode dividing by again the same value again by the 60. Okay. So because I think in this way, if we get an integer part, is like 2.6. So 2 is my minutes, the 0.6 is my seconds, and we are converting that into our seconds value. So let's say we have here as an output. If you see the 10 seconds difference, here we have the 34 seconds, here we have the 44 seconds. So there is a difference of 10 seconds like this. Here we do not have any difference in the third part, in the third value. So that's why it returns the 0. So this is how you can calculate. So integer part is something, let's say day, hours, minute. But let's say if you are into day, how many minutes, how many hours you calculate, then it goes to mole. Let's say when we have the hours, let's say 4 hours 30 minutes, so integer part will be 4. Then what we need the minute for that, so it goes to like a mode part where we got the 30 minutes as a remainder that will be returned as an output. So this is a bit tricky to understand, I guess. Still, I try to make it simplify. If you still have any confusion, please let me know. I can recreate it in a bit more in a simpler and step by step manner. Hope you like this video. Follow for more Power BI updates. Thank you so much.